Panic disorder. In this video, I'll explain to you about panic disorder. I'll discuss how the symptoms arise, how they are maintained, and what you can do to break the cycle. Now, the first thing to remember is that panic starts in our brain. We have an alarm system in our brain, which we inherited from the past, from evolution. In times of danger, this alarm system helped us to prepare and take action. You see, the world used to be a different place as we walked around in the jungle unprotected, and when we encountered a predator threatening us in the jungle, we had to be able to act immediately to protect ourselves. We had to fight or flee. The alarm system played an important role in this. We still carry this alarm system with us, even though we no longer live in the jungle. Now, it seems like when you get into a certain situation, a signal is sent directly to the alarm system and the alarm goes off. The alarm system is activated in this moment and this makes you feel anxious immediately. One of the consequences of the activated alarm system is that various chemical substances are released in your body, certain hormones and neurotransmitters, which enable your body to take action. This leads to certain physical sensations that you may recognize, such as palpitations, lightheadedness, sweating, tingling, dizziness or numbness in the hands and feet. These are symptoms controlled by the alarm system, which thinks, attention, you need to take action. What seems to happen next is that a signal goes back to the alarm system. You were already feeling anxious, but now that you are feeling such strange symptoms, the fear only increases and the alarm gets even louder, which leads to an increase in the physical symptoms you experience. In addition, you start to develop certain so-called catastrophic thoughts, like I'm having a heart attack, or I'm going crazy, or I'm going to faint or lose control. All these thoughts contribute further to this alarm system going off, which then rings even louder. So in summary, we now have 4 factors that play a role. We have the situation that triggers a panic, the alarm system that then goes off with all the physical symptoms this entails, a signal back that makes the alarm go even louder, and then also those catastrophic thoughts that make the alarm system go off even more. Now, what you're inclined to do in a response to a panic attack makes complete sense if you look at it from an evolutionary point of view. That is, to escape or avoid. In the past, if you came across a hungry tiger in a certain part of the jungle, you ran away. The next time you made sure not to come there again, you would avoid that part of the jungle. So, your brain is programmed to warn you about places where you once experienced panic by activating your alarm system and by making sure you avoid those places. We call this avoidance behavior. Now, as mentioned, it's very understandable that you are inclined to escape or avoid, but this doesn't work well in overcoming your symptoms. Let me explain. Because one important aspect I haven't mentioned yet is memory. I draw this here as a circle. All our fears are stored in this memory. Now, what happens when you flee or avoid? I'll show you in a graph. The moment you panic, tension increases. Are you fleeing a situation in which you're panicking? Or are you avoiding a situation where you fear you might panic? Then your tension decreases. Imagine you're in a crowded room, your heart is racing, and you think this is going completely wrong. You escape, you leave the room, and get some fresh air again. The tension decreases, and you feel relieved. But something important happens there. By leaving the situation, you're actually saying to yourself, it's a good thing I left. If I hadn't, it would have gone completely wrong. The tension would have been even higher, and I might have had a heart attack or passed out or something else catastrophic would have happened. So it's a good thing that I left. This is the message you send your brain. This means your brain stores a minus in memory. In fact, a note is made in memory labeled, that situation, those feelings are dangerous. By repeating this flight and avoidance behavior, you collect more and more minuses in memory, making the brain more and more sensitive and fearful to those feelings and situations. This keeps you feeling afraid of the next panic attack, because you never get to the situation where you can experience a different outcome from the one that you fear. Well, there's something important to realize though, and that is that panic is not dangerous. The physical reaction that occurs during a panic attack is comparable to vigorous exercise. The heart beats fast, so you're sweating, you feel everything in your body, but panic is actually not dangerous. Now, the question is what it takes to turn those minuses into pluses and to therefore be less afraid of panic. Since panic is not dangerous, it is important to not escape or avoid the situation you fear. It is important that you stay in the situation. Now, what would happen to your tension if you stayed in the situation? As you can see in the graph, your tension would initially increase further, that's true. The expectation that if you stayed in the situation, your tension would increase may therefore be realistic, but the expectation that you cannot bear that tension is not. You can stay in that situation and you can endure the tension and the fear that you experience. If you stay in a situation at a certain point, the tension will stop increasing and remain the same. Because the alarm notices like, hey, hold on, what I'm so afraid of is not happening, so I can keep blaring, but it doesn't really make much sense. So the alarm system calms down a bit. And then something important happens. A plus is stored in the brain. The message is stored in the brain saying, look, I can handle it, in between all those minuses. So the brain might still think, well, hey, maybe I was lucky this time and maybe next time things will go completely wrong. But somewhere there's a piece of evidence stating that it may be bearable after all. If you keep repeating this, not avoiding situation and enduring the panic, you will collect more and more pluses. At a certain point, you will become more and more convinced that apparently you can bear it. If you keep doing this often enough and collect more and more pluses, you will become less and less afraid of those panic attacks. The alarm system will no longer go off because it knows, hey, nothing will happen anyway. The thought, oh dear, it's going completely wrong, changes to, I can handle it. Experience shows that when the fear for a next panic attack decreases, the chances of a next panic attack showing up decreases as well. If you want to get rid of those anxious panic attacks, you should start by no longer avoiding the situations you fear. Try to confront those situations one step at a time. If it's too scary to do it alone, bring someone with you and practice together. And if that goes well, then you can practice further by yourself. At some point you will notice that you feel more and more calm in such situations and that you can handle them more and more easily. I wish you the best of luck. And if you want to be informed in the future about psychological topics, please subscribe for more videos.